What gang, Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It is Friday evening. It also means October 21st, 2022. I want to get on here real quick and make a video about the Clemson Syracuse matchup tomorrow afternoon in Death Valley and give my analysis and pick against the spread on that one. My picks against the spread coming at some point. I'm going home right now to make fried rice on the Members Mark Griddle Grill that I got from Sam's Club back in the summer. It should be magnificent. So my review of that coming up as well. Anyway, I've got to get on here and talk about Clemson and Fruit. So they're ranked number 14 at 6-0. Syracuse is coming in this matchup. Clemson ranked number 5, 7-0, and I don't think anyone in their right mind expected Syracuse to be here at this point in the season. Looking at them in the summertime, I didn't think they were going to be as bad as all the magazines were predicting them to be. It seems like the past few years, really ever since the year after that, what was that? They were like 10-3 in 2018, and then they kind of tanked the next year when people had high expectations for them. If you watch videos from the summer of 2019, which I'm sure you haven't because that was a long time ago, I predicted that they would not finish up with the same type record. I, in fact, had them losing, predicted them to finish with a losing record, and they did in 2019. And ever since then, everybody's just kind of shoehorned them into the bottom of the ACC without really putting a lot of thought into it or analysis. They come into this game, they're ranked like number 8 in the country in total defense. Really good against the pass, really solid against the run as well. So I don't know where Clemson's going to get an advantage from that standpoint. Now, just looking at Syracuse situationally, they are coming into this one off of a pretty big win last week over a ranked NC State team. Now, NC State was missing their quarterback, Devin Leary, so NC State has as many scholarships as everybody else does, though. 85 of them. Here we go with Carolina Jackpot's copying Uncle Lou. No, I'm just stating facts. They have enough scholarships to be able to cultivate a backup quarterback to play against Syracuse. Not their damn fault that he wasn't ready. They won 24-9 in the Dome up there. So it leads me to believe Syracuse is riding one high. And the only thing is, they've actually been talking about it. They've been chirping a little bit this week, from what I understand. Now, granted, they deserve the right to chirp a little bit. But now, when you're going into a matchup like this one, this to me, when I sit back and I look at this one, there are still doubters out there. There are still Clemson doubters out there, people that doubt their offense, people that have questions about their defense. And, well, they should. The back end of Clemson's defense has been exposed this year. And I'm not sure that it's not done being exposed, whether it be an ACC play or whether it be when they get to the postseason. Syracuse quarterback Garrett Schrader has looked decent this year. 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He can run around a little bit too, and he offers a dynamic that Clemson hasn't really seen this year. A quarterback that is really a true dual threat who can spread the field out. Sean Tucker, their running back, he's rushed for about 670 yards this year. Don't think that he has really put up the numbers that I think people thought that he would put up going into this year, but I think that's because Schrader himself has taken a little bit of the rush numbers away from Tucker. Tucker was widely regarded as being the best back in the ACC going into this season, all ACC back. Will Shipley of Clemson, he's regarded as the second best back in the state of South Carolina, has rushed for 500-something yards, although on fewer carries than Tucker, he has more touchdown runs than what Tucker does. DJ Ukulele, the Clemson quarterback, 17 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions this year, thrown for about 1,700 and some yards, and he has been able to get it done with his feet as well as through the air. So, he's improved. His play, I'm not going to say it hasn't. His play has improved tremendously from where it was this time last year. Has he become the quarterback that people thought he was going to be out of high school, and what they thought he would be after they saw him play against Boston College and Notre Dame back during the COVID year. No, he's not. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's still the stench of coming off of last year, or maybe just hasn't really been developed as a quarterback at Clemson. And I think it's that one. I think that's why. Trevor Lawrence, when he was picked number 1 overall in the NFL draft and went and reported to Jacksonville Jaguars camp, I mean, it was said that his tools and mechanics had really not progressed a whole lot at Clemson since he came out of high school. The tangibles that people measure things by, those aren't lies, and those didn't come from me. Those come from NFL analysts. One Trent Dilfer also spoke out on that as well. But the Clemson man will sit here and say, well, Trent Dilfer doesn't know shit. He had a losing record. He barely got to a Super Bowl as a quarterback with the Baltimore Ravens. He don't, whatever. Anyway, we're not going to talk about any of that. We're talking about the matchup, Clemson versus Syracuse. Defensively, Syracuse is legit. They're legit. They've played one true road game. A lot of people are saying that's the knock on them. Well, they can only play the schedule that they have in front of them, right? I mean, isn't that what the Clemson fan told us when they're going undefeated running through the ACC like poop through a tin horn? We can only play the schedule we got. Well, that's all Syracuse has done. They played the schedule they had, and they've won it. They're not the ones who, they may be in control of their non-conference schedule to some degree, but they're not the ones in charge of that conference schedule. It's not their fault their conference games have all been at home. Stop crying. 14 points to me seems almost about right for them. It seems almost about right. This very much to me seems like a LLOC game. And that is a little old Clemson game. This to me seems like one of those spots where Dabo and the staff feels like there's some doubters out there and there's some haters, and they could definitely go out and blow this team out. And I believe they could, because they're better on the lines of scrimmage than Syracuse, and they've got better people at the skill positions as a whole. I think the receiving core definitely better than what Syracuse is. I think quarterback-wise, I think DJ Ukulele better than Garrett Schrader. I think their receivers better than Syracuse's receivers. Obviously, I think Sean Tucker better than Will Shipley. Clemson also has other running backs as well who may well be better than Shipley. I don't know. So just looking at it from that standpoint, you would think, well, jackpot, maybe Clemson covers that number. Maybe Clemson's looking for style points, and maybe they have something to prove. Well, maybe Syracuse has something to prove. You got to look at the history of this thing. Syracuse is covered against Clemson more often than not. I think the crowd is definitely going to be amped up for this game, but a noon game does not necessarily project the type of energy that a nighttime game does. It just doesn't. Clemson comes off of a nighttime game. And also, I wasn't real impressed with Clemson in the fourth quarter against Florida State. Now, I know it's garbage time. Jackpot, it doesn't matter. It's garbage time. Well, every double-digit win has garbage time in it. But Florida State, as far as ACC teams go, that's your rival. That is your rival. That's the team that, you have looked to establish dominance over the past, 8 years or so, ever since they stopped being dominant. You've kind of taken over, and in the fourth quarter, you were not dominant against them. A team with a true killer instinct playing against a team like that should put their foot square on their throat, turn it, twist it, until they totally exasperate. But you didn't do that. You didn't do that. You let them almost get back. You let them get back in the game. You almost, if they'd have recovered an onside kick, they could have marched out. They could have won that game. They could have won that game from you, little old Clemson. So the lack of killer instinct, the nooner, the fact that Syracuse has a defense that is legit, the fact that Garrett Schrader can spread the ball around a little bit more than what Clemson is used to seeing, I'm taking Syracuse and lay those 14 points. I would stay away from this game, honestly. That's just me. I'm staying away from it. I'm not doing anything with that one. But if I'm playing, I'm laying. take the Fruit to cover in the Valley tomorrow afternoon. I will see you guys later. Appreciate it. Peace. And I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks.